What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about the top 5 short squeeze stocks that you need to add to your watch list. So I want to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with stock number 5, although not in any particular order, ticker is NUAI, sitting at $1.88. Has been trading for less than a year. Over the last year to date though, down 68.67, but over the last 1 month, it is up 308%. So I like to choose stocks that have some pre-existing momentum. This meets that criteria, and as well, in many cases, shorts just being overextended. So this definitely has been getting some pretty good traction. There's a lot of good information here, such as market cap, volume, average volume, and so forth. So take a look at that if that's your thing. Company profile, so it is under the oil and gas exploration and production industry, based out of good old Texas in the States, but 14.64% of the free float's being shorted, works out to be 2.97 million shares. At the time of doing this video, during the pre-market, shorts are increasing about 94,000. Short score, higher the number, the higher the likelihood of a squeeze happening, is sitting at 78.22. And then through IBKR, it does indicate roughly around 750,000 shares is available to be shorted. Cost to borrow average 101. So when it comes down to this, you might be seeing some buying coming from big players, because whenever you see a stock that has limited supply, no different than what happened early this morning, how it jumped from about 350 to 800 and then 850, that is institutions, large institutions, buying just for the purposes of lending out, because the cost to borrow is rather juicy. This as well, stock has had like massive surge of shorts. So it went from about 0.24% at the beginning of September to where it are pretty much a peak of 29%. So shorts have been all over this stock quite significantly. Despite that though, it's actually done fairly well based on the pre-existing momentum, like I said. So add this one to your watch list. Moving on to the next one, ticker is WOLF. I'm sure everyone has heard of this stock one way or another. Complete polar turnaround. This has been a unique stock to watch, but sitting at 24.83 over the last 1 year, up 179%, but over the last 5 days, up 1,549%. So crazy good momentum behind the scenes. 16.6% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 25.8 million shares. So shorts went from about, looks like 36% short interest on September the 25th to where it is now. So shorts did return a significant amount, which has really helped it push higher, but generally shorts are still overextended. So this stock again has all the criteria that I generally like to look at for a good squeeze play, or they're just more significant appreciation. Short score 63.64, and then through IBKR does indicate 150,000 shares available. Cost to borrow average currently is 360.75. That's an annual rate, not a daily rate, but even looking at the last couple of days, it did have at one time 3,000 or about 3,100%. That is a huge number, almost about 2,000, 1,300. So this one definitely needs to be added to your watch list because you have some good pre-existing momentum, rather limited amount of available shares, and a very high cost to borrow. So very kind of hits all the marks across the board. So add this one to your watch list. Moving on to the next one, ticker is BQ, sitting at 957. Has been trading for less than a year. So it looks like a new IPO. Over the last 5 days, it is up 209%. This is what they do. So other specialty retail, 158 employees based out of good old China. 14.79% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 412,000 shares overall being shorted. During the pre-market, looks like shorts are increasing about 900 shares, nothing crazy significant, but this is exactly what the market does like to squeeze. So somewhat heavily shorted and a low float. So you might have some people talking about that. Short score 80.02. Cost to borrow average is 391.94%. Again, as an annual rate, not a daily rate. There's about 1,000 shares available to be shorted. So another stock that could be seeing some buying over the next little bit, as big money will love to buy this just to lend out, because that cost to borrow is fairly juicy. So this stock definitely add to your watch list. And I think generally with the IPO and broader market momentum that's starting to recover despite the shutdown, that did happen, you're seeing a lot of momentum. And so a lot of these stocks, I think in general, will move higher just based on that momentum on a side note. But moving on to the next one, ticker is DVLT, sitting at $1.39. Over the last 1 year, it is down 19.53. Over the last 5 days, up 3.2, but over the last 1 month, up 312%. So this is what they do. So semiconductor sector, based out of the States. Right now, 43.88% of the free float is being shorted, works to be 34.28 million shares overall being shorted. During the pre-market, shorts are returning about 752,000 shares. Shorts have gone crazy though. So in June, this short interest was at 2.94%. So shorts have just gone up like crazy. So I'm not really sure exactly what happened operationally to cause that, but even in the short term though, stock price has really gone up. So that's a good thing. Short score 81.86, so that is fairly high. Through IBKR does indicate 350,000 shares is available, so somewhat limited supply as well. And that's why most likely shorts are returning, because it does have also a high cost to borrow. So through IBKR, 365.87%. So this stock, again, has all the criteria that you need for either a squeeze or a nice continued push higher. So regardless, add this one to your watch list. And then last but not least, ticker is BKKT, sitting at 34.15. Over the last 1 year, it is up 279%. Then over the last 1 month, up 287%. This is what they do. So financial exchanges and data, 559 employees, founded in 2018, based out of good old the States. And right now, 25.16% of the free floats being shorted, works to be 3.86 million shares overall being shorted. Pre-market, shorts are increasing about 40,000 shares, give or take. Shorts have gone up quite a lot as well. So recently it was in August about 12% short interest. So now it's at 25, so kind of crazy stuff. DTC sitting at 1.83. On a side note, there's a lot of good information here that I'm not necessarily bringing up in every case, but 1.83 days, that does show even further that shorts are very overextended. So that does factor in the average volume for this stock in comparison to number of shares being shorted. Short score 71.53. So again, fairly high for that. Through IBKR does indicate 100,000 shares is available. Cost to borrow kind of on the low end through IBKR, so 5.37. So you might be seeing some buying, but with this low cost to borrow, it's might not be that big of an incentive for big institutions to buy, just to lend out. But nonetheless, clearly it went from 15,000 during this morning to 45 to 100,000. So big money is buying it and lending it out. So even though the cost to borrow is kind of on the low end, you're seeing that happen. So during the pre-market, it looks like it is going up alongside many of the other stocks. So it should be a fun day for everything. So let me know your general thoughts on these stocks. Is there any other squeeze plays that you feel should be added to a watch list? If so, throw some tickers in the description below. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades, worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.